Okay, now in your uh, classes, in your future classes, basically you're going to be reading a lot, right?
Yes.
Uh, like I mean a lot. So I think most of your time will be consumed not by writing, not by sitting in classes, but by reading.
Yes.
And it's very crucial. It's very important that you understand what you read in what you read, because your professors will be talking about those things that you read in the class. So if you were not able to understand what you read, then you won't be able to participate in the class. So it's very, very crucial. Um, the problem is there is a different challenge when it comes to um, reading academic texts. It is more challenging, and you would find yourself in this situation. You might. So I want to ask you a question first. Have you ever tried to read a book, but your mind was flying off somewhere?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Almost.
Often.
Often, right? Yeah,
Sometimes.
almost all of the time. So what do we do? What do we do in a situation like that? Okay, so this is what I want to introduce to you this morning. This is what we call the effective reading seminar. How to read faster, better, and smarter. Okay, there is a reading technique through which we can accomplish all of these: read faster, better, and smarter. So what is that? We call that SQ3R. SQ3R reading technique. All right. SQ3R stands for survey, question, read, recite,
I.
and review.
You.
Review. So we're gonna do 5 things that will help us to actively read, to be more engaged in our reading. But before that, let me just give you a short um, sort of testimony. So one time I was reading, one student came up to me, and that student asked me to help him read one assigned reading by his theology professor. So the material was 20 pages long. It was quite long. And I said, okay, give me time. Let me read it. When I realized the topic was so difficult because it's not only talking about theology, it's talking about philosophy. Philosophy which I had no idea about. Okay, I never learned philosophy in college. I wish I had, but my course did not require a subject like that. So I was totally blank when it comes to philosophy. Theology, yes, I knew some things, but how can I connect these two? So you can imagine these are like 20 full pages of hard reading. Um, so in the middle of it, I was dozing off. I was sleepy. My mind was flying off somewhere, and I couldn't get what the author was saying. I couldn't get his point. And then I stopped. I said, okay, I know a technique. I learned a technique from IGSL, from one of the professors in IGSL.
Wow.
And I applied it. I applied this, SQ3R. And the reading started to make sense to me. Uh, Especially when I did the second part. The second part is my most favorite part. Let's talk about it later on. So this this has helped many students survive graduate school, university studies, and even seminary studies. That's why I'm very excited to present this to you. but we're doing it online. I don't know if it would be as effective as if we would do it in the classroom, but let's give it a try. So let's start with the first one, which is survey. Survey. Now, what do we do with survey?
Survey.
Yeah, survey. Can you say that?
Survey.
Good. There's another word for this, which is scan. Scan.
Scan.
Okay. Basically, what you want to do with surveying is you want to get the big picture of the article or the book you're reading. Okay. What's the main idea? Okay, you already know about this because we've been doing this with George Mueller. We've been doing this with close reading. What's the main idea? What's it all about? Okay, so these are the questions that you need to ask. Sorry, I moved on too early. So these are the questions that you need to ask as you survey. Why is it important that we get a big picture of what we're reading? Can anyone answer that question? Why is it important that we get a big picture of what we're reading?
That is, we need to understand the whole paragraph or the whole meaning.
So we can not wrong.
The main thing, if we can pick up the main thing.
Okay. Now, why do we have to pick up the main thing?
Yeah.
Why?
If we don't understand the whole thing, we can have
Miss.
we can have wrong.
Yeah.
Because the main idea, if we know the main idea, is make us understand. Because in the messages, if they tell the main idea, Yola, can go again. Yeah, yeah, Yola, yeah.
Oh, you have some distractions over there. Okay. Yeah. The thing is, you're right. You're right. So we need to get the main idea, the big picture. Otherwise, we won't be able to place the details, the small details, into that big picture. So what happens is you might misunderstand some details if you don't get the big picture. That's so easy to happen. That's so easy to happen because everything needs to be understood in context. Context. And if you don't understand the context, if you don't understand the big picture on which the details are in, then you will, Grace is right, you will understand um, incorrectly the small details of the passage. Okay, now how do we do that? That's the next question. How do we do that? So we survey by looking at reading the introduction and the conclusion paragraph. So basically the first and last paragraphs, and also read the headings and subheadings and the first sentences of each paragraph. Okay. And if there are pictures and captions, you can look at them, the charts, graphs, and maps. Yeah, so now in real life, no one is gonna check if you got the main idea or if you get the big picture. This is something you have to do on your own. But for now, what we're gonna do is I would want you to get the main idea, get the big picture, and later on, individually you do it first, and then later on, I want you to compare your answers with the rest of your group mates. Okay? So again, intro, first and last paragraph, headings and subheadings, and then first sentences of each paragraph. That's what you're going to do. Okay, now it's your turn to do it. So that's why we call it a workshop, because I'm not going to be talking much. I want you to do it. You learn reading by reading. Okay? You learn reading by reading. So it's your turn. I want you to read the survey. So let me just get this out of the way. Survey the article Organic Church. And again, read the following. Okay, intro, conclusion, headings, subheadings, first sentences of each paragraph. Find the main idea and write it in one sentence. Is that clear? Find the
Okay.
main idea and write it in one sentence. Yes, La.
So we need to write. We need to write main sentence
Main idea.
from each paragraph. The first sentence.
No, just when you say main idea, the whole passage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you get that? By reading these things. Just don't read the whole thing, huh? Don't read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just the intro and conclusion. And also
Conclusion.
the first and last paragraphs and the first sentences of each paragraph. Just the first sentence.
And
Okay.
subheading.
And also the headings and subheadings. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the
What is the headings and subheading?
Okay. Can anyone show me what are the headings in Organic Church?
Organic Church heading is right.
Yeah, that's the title. That's the
Ah.
title. What's the heading?
Our vision of church.
Yeah. Our vision of church limited by experience. Yeah, those are the headings. And then if you have headings under the headings, we call that subheadings. Yeah. So what's a subheading there? Can you see a subheading?
A group. A group of beliefs gathers together regularly. Oh,
All the
Uh,
characteristics.
Yeah.
Right.
Organic Church.
price? Price.
Organic Church.
okay.
Price
I forgot to get my copy, so
This is
I'll have to go to you.
yeah. This is the top.
All right.
First.
So
Oh.
how many minutes
That's
do you
me.
do it? How many minutes do you do it? Here's the surprising thing, huh? You have 2 minutes to do it. Only 2 minutes. Why? Because it's only survey. Okay, it's only scanning. So you have to do it quickly. That's the idea. You don't read. You don't read the whole thing. So you have to do it quickly. And then after 2 minutes, I want you to spend time in writing your main idea. Okay? You can pick a sentence if you don't want to make your own. You can pick a sentence from there. All right?
yes.
So everyone's clear about the instructions?
Yes, Kuya.
All right. So I'll give you 2 minutes and it starts now. So as you compare your main ideas, just compare. Okay, no need to discuss. No need to discuss if it's correct or not. Just compare and see the difference. between your main ideas. Is everyone done with your main ideas?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Kuya.
Okay, go ahead and discuss it in your table.
For me, the meaning of the church.
My is church
The meaning
Plen-
of church
As a
is
group, discuss as a
planting
Okay.
or
Of church. The meaning of church. Okay.
sorry.
How about
Now, let me show you this. Can you guess what is this picture all about? What is happening in this picture?
Fire.
Fire.
There's fire. Anything more specific?
which
The wood.
the wood? Yeah. Wood.
Okay, okay. This is a charcoal being burned. Okay, for what purpose do you think?
Cooking.
Cooking. Okay, good.
For warm.
Planning for something, Kuya.
Yep. Burning something.
Planning for something.
Burning.
Running for something. What's that?
Burning.
Burning for
Burning.
something.
Burning for something. Burning something. Okay. All right. Now let's look at it. Okay. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay.
Wow.
Can you now get the what's happening?
For barbecue.
Yeah. What's your clue? What's your clue?
There's just,
Mm.
it's for barbecue.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh.
How about the crew? But
Oh, yes.
how to
Cooking.
say?
Hot dog.
Hot dog, right?
Yeah.
Don't know the clue, but I know that it's for barbecue.
Is hot dog is right?
Yes.
Right. So this is sausage.
Sausage.
All right. So what am I why am I trying to show you this picture? It's not to make you hungry, but it's to help you understand the importance of getting the main idea. Okay? Because we can interpret, if we focus too much on the details, we can interpret it wrongly, right? So first we need to get the big picture. What is happening? What is happening? What's the author trying to say? Is he trying to address a problem? Is he trying to promote a new idea? What's he trying to do? What's he trying to do? So that's why we do the first one, surveying. Okay, the next one is also very, very important. Sorry. Okay. Okay, the next one, SQ.
SQ.
So we're now in the second part. This is question. Question. Okay? So think of questions that will help you engage and concentrate. That will help you engage and concentrate. The problem with many readers right now is, including us, sometimes we read passively. We're not really actively engaged in what we're reading. Okay? Now, how do we engage our minds? Our minds fly off somewhere easily because we are not engaged. You know, as we're reading, maybe we're thinking of, oh, what am I going to cook for lunch? Or what am I going to do after this? Or what could I get for snacks? Something like that. So by asking questions, we can help our minds to engage and concentrate Now, what kind of questions should we ask? These are questions that draw out the main idea, key points, purpose, and important facts. And more importantly, these are questions that you think you can answer in the passage. In the passage. Okay? Again, what if they cannot be answered in the passage? It's okay. Again, the purpose is for you to engage and concentrate. Okay? If you realize while reading that, oh no, my question was not right because it cannot be answered in the passage, it's okay. Your mind was engaged. You were able to accomplish your purpose, right? So that's the purpose is for you to engage and concentrate. Now, how to question. So again, look at the title, headings, and subheadings. And for each of them, come up with a question. Come up with questions. Okay, let's try the title. What's the title?
Organic church.
Organic church. So as you don't read, don't read yet. Just think of the title and what questions come to your mind.
What is organic church?
What is the meaning
Exactly.
of
Exactly, right? What is organic church?
What will?
Yeah, what does it
will?
mean? What does an organic church mean? What else?
why?
Why what?
Why he about the
Very good, very good. Yeah, the purpose, the motive of the author is also very important. Why is he writing about an organic church? Right? We already know about churches. We've been going to church for quite some time already. Why do we have to talk about organic church? Or, yeah. Any other question?
What's the new thing?
Yeah, what's the new thing about this organic church? Very good. What's the new thing about this organic church? Any other question?
how?
How? Yeah, good, good. How?
How to
How to be
how to
organic
have
church.
an organized or how to build.
How to build an organic church. Very good.
What I know about organic church?
Yes. What do I know about organic church? Is this something I know already?
Yes.
Or is this a totally new idea? Yeah, very good, Grace. Very good. Very good, Ate Filene. How about the others? Why are Ate Filene and only Grace are speaking?
Okay. What I want to say, what
Okay.
the difference between the organic church and other church?
Very good. Very good, Kuya. What's the difference between an organic church and a normal church? Yeah, very good. That's a good question. Okay, now these are some questions I wrote up, but your questions are very good. What is an organic church? Yeah, the same thing you had. How is it different? Very good. The same thing.
Okay, I just thought, what's the real meaning of church?
Yes, very good. What's the real meaning of church? Yeah, how do we define church? Yeah, biblically, you can say something like that. What is the author primarily pointing out about what a church should be? Yeah, just like your question, Lau.
No.
What is really church? Okay, because obviously he's presenting an idea of how church should be done, right? So what's he pointing out? Okay, did you get the idea?
Yes.
All right. So I want you, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to skip. I actually wrote some questions for headings, for the other heading as well. But let's skip that. Okay. In groups of 3, I want you to come up with, okay, sorry. Let me get this out of the way. Come up with 1 question per heading of the remaining, what's that? Sorry, I can't read. I need to remove your remaining part of the article, organic church. So how many headings and subheadings do we still have there?
1,
4.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, let me count.
Is 4.
2.
Let's count it. I think I might have removed some. Okay, 1 is our vision of church, limited by our experience.
Yeah.
Can you just read them?
Yeah.
Okay, second one is
Organic church.
Organic church.
organic.
Christ.
Christ followed, is it?
Christ first.
Christ first, okay.
Organic
Here, okay. Christ first. So this is, you can see, this is a heading, and then you got subheading, Christ first, and
Organic churches reproduce.
very good. And
Cultivating fruit in its own culture.
okay, so write a question for each of the heading. Okay? So each person, I want you to write 1 question. Wait. Let's read the instructions. Remember what kind of questions? Questions that draw out the main idea, key points, purpose, and important facts, and questions that you think can be answered in the passage. Each person in the group should write down the question. So first you do it individually. Okay, write 1 question per heading, okay, of the remaining part. And then after that, you will combine your questions later on. But first you do it individually. Is that clear?
So yeah, we need to produce the questions. Each heading is right.
Yes, for each heading. So you will come up with, yes, Grace is right, 5 questions. 1 question per heading. Okay? All right, you can do it now. What kind of, this is from Imsong's group, huh? What kind of organic churches reproduce? Okay, okay, I'll give you benefit of the doubt for that. But okay, so you're assuming that there are different kinds of organic churches. All right. Desire to cultivate fruit, or you could be cultivating. Okay, how to develop cultivating fruit. Okay, the last one was very good. Cultivating fruit in its own culture. All right, so far so good. But 1 question that I really wanted you to ask, Kuya Brown is asking right now. You can see this. How has the experience we have in church limited? We have in church limited our vision of what the church should be. Yeah, this is what I was wanting you to ask, because the first heading is very, very important. It sets the background, the setting. So if you have a heading like our vision of church limited by our experience, the question is why? Why does it say that our vision of church is limited by our experience? Or how has it limited our experience, our vision of church? How has our experiences limited our vision of church, like what Kuya Brown is asking. Kuya Brown also came up with other good questions. What does Cole say an organic church is? How does an organic church put Christ first in a way other churches don't? Yeah, very good, Kuya. What besides numbers of members in our lifestyle does Cole mean when he says we should reproduce? And how does he do it? Yeah, very good, very good. This is a very good question.
Well, Kuya RJ,
Yes, Ate.
I forgot to put them like questions, so he changed them. That's really my ideas.
Oh, wow. This is Ate Giselle's ideas. Wow, very good,
Wow.
Ate. Yeah, so it's amazing how we can come up with how Ate can come up with questions like this, and just by just looking at the headings without actually reading, right? Yeah. So when you look at the word reproduce, okay, and the assumption is it's trying to come up with a new idea on church. Okay, so if he's talking about organic churches reproduce, this is a good question to ask. Aside from numbers of members in our lifestyle, what does Cole mean when he says we should reproduce, and how? How do we do it? Yeah. And the last one is, how does an organic church adjust its life to cultivate fruit in the surrounding culture in a God honoring way? Wow, another good question. All right, so remember our purpose for asking these questions. What's our purpose? Okay, let me resume sharing. Our purpose is to engage and help us engage and concentrate. So this is basically the purpose of asking these questions. So whether or not they will be answered in the passage, we will find out. You will find out. Okay, now the next one. So before we take a break, I'm going to ask you to take a break. But before that, let's discuss the third part so that after you take your break, you can continue doing this. So the third part is, okay, oh, they're getting in my way. It's hard to do it while it is. Okay, sorry about that. All right, the third part is read. Finally, you will read. You're ready to read. Okay, now what do you do when you try to read? You try to find the answers to your questions. That's what you do. And also, highlight, underline, and encircle important parts of the text. So this is something that's very familiar to you because we've done this with close reading, remember? We were doing this a lot when we were doing close reading. So you can do the same thing. Now, how are we going to do that? So I want you again to individually read the article, Organic Church, section by section. That means heading by heading. Look for the answers to your questions, okay? And if you can find the answers, I want you to briefly, just short, write down the answers to each of your questions. And later on, in groups of 3, you'll be sharing your answers. That's what we're gonna do. Okay? Now, if you realize that, oh, these questions cannot be answered, then maybe you can modify it, maybe you can change it a little bit so that you can come up with a better question, a question that can be answered in a passage. Is that clear? Is it clear? Let me hear a yes or no. Any questions? Okay. Okay, good. So take a 10-minute break. Just stand up, and then I will give you 30 minutes to read this. Okay, read and discuss. So maybe we can come back after 40 minutes. So that's going to be 15, 40, 50, is it 40, 55. So let's come back at, okay, let's come back at 11 o'clock. Okay, so in within 40 minutes, I want you to be able to take a break, to stand up, drink some coffee, water, whatever you want to do, and then get into your groups again and read the article first individually, trying to find the answers to your questions, and briefly write down your answers to your questions, and then come back to your group and share your answers. Talk about your answers. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
All right. So go ahead, take your break, and see you at 11 o'clock. So let's get off Zoom so that we can charge our devices. So we can get off from Zoom. Okay, so let me stop this now. Let me end our meeting. See you at 11 o'clock. But I'll see you there. I'll be going around.
But we say how can related to in his own option.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So the question I want to ask you first is, how was your reading experience? Did you feel sleepy? Did you experience your mind flying off somewhere? How was your reading experience?
Very excited.
Yeah, that's good. Very exciting, huh?
Cannot sleep because looking for
The answer.
the answer.
Yes, you got it, Ate. So you cannot sleep. You don't have you cannot be sleepy because you're engaged, right?
Yeah.
You have an answer to look for.
More concentrate.
Yeah. You're able to concentrate even more. So do you now see the advantage of asking questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Grace was telling me earlier, and I can understand her concern. Do I have to do like step by step? It can be tedious. It can be hard to do, right? To actually cover all the steps. Can I just go ahead and read? So the answer to that is yes, you can go ahead and read, but there is no guarantee that you will be able to engage and concentrate, right? If you are reading a hard material, an academic reading, then chances are, most probably, you'll be having a hard time engaging and concentrating, especially if you're reading a topic that you're not familiar with. But once you do the first two steps, then you will be able to concentrate and engage, because when you look for answers, that's what happens. You'll be able to engage more, right? So even though it can be tedious, it can be difficult to do, it's not natural for us to actually take the time to ask questions, to survey the article, the book we're reading. It's going to be helpful for your reading, okay? Especially if you're reading a difficult text. So take that time. It should take just less than 10 minutes to be able to do the first steps. It becomes long because we are doing this as a group, and we are trying to verify your questions. But if you're on your own, then you can be able to accomplish those two steps in just a matter of less than 10 minutes. And the result is going to be fantastic. You're going to enjoy reading like what you have experienced just now. All right? Okay, now let us hear some of your answers. Some of your answers. I'm looking forward to this. So choose the best in your group. I want you to choose the best question that you asked and what is the answer to that. Okay? Let's start with Ate Filene and Grace. So what's your best question and answer?
That's one.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
just one.
The best. Okay, and how we can reproduce our organizations.
this one is about the meaning of the organization.
Okay, so our question we choose is what is the meaning of organizations reproduce and how we can reproduce our church, our organic church. Okay, and answer.
The answer is that if we put Christ, no, Christ is the seed of the next generation.
The meaning of
The meaning is that Christ is the seed of the next generation.
All right. Yeah,
And
that's it.
then what? Another question is
and
how we are to take the seed and plant it in the soil of every people group under the authority of our King.
Right, right. So it's not just planting churches, it's planting Christ.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, very good. Very good. Now, as for the detail, yeah, give yourselves a high five. Good job. Good job. As for the details of that, like what are the practical implications of that, then you can read the book. Kuya Brown is talking about writing a dissertation about the author's book. We're going to ask Kuya Brown to share a little bit about that later on. Yeah, but you did a very good job. Very good. You got a very good question, and that was answered very well. Okay, now let's go to Imsang, Ateola, and Zeris. Choose one question.
Oh, Imsan, you want to read? Do you want? Okay, okay Kuya. Our question is
Number one.
number one. What is the most important matters of organic church?
Sorry, Ate, can you repeat that? What is the most important
Matters of
matters? Ah, okay.
organic church. And the answer is being alive and vibrant as living organisms.
Being alive and vibrant
Vibrant.
as living organisms. What is the most important matter of what heading is that? The first heading? Is it the title or the first heading? Where is that question? Under which heading?
Organic church.
Organic
Oh,
church.
the title. Okay. Okay. Yeah, being vibrant and alive. That's so you're saying that is, according to the author, that's the most important matter in being an organic church.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Short answer, but accurate. Accurate. Yeah, good job. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next duo. By the way, we will also ask Kuya Brown and Ate Giselle to share later on. But let's have first Kuya David and Kuya Nanta.
Which one? One. This one.
Minh ơi, cầm hai tay.
Which one? This one?
Cầm cẩn thận không rơi ra.
How to view a church according to our experience. That question, our vision of church limited by our experience.
Okay, sorry, Kuya, could you repeat your question again?
How to view a church according to our experience.
All right. Answer?
Yeah, our answer is according to our experience, church is a group of believers. They gather together regularly. They have a collective elder spirit stand.
All right.
They consider itself
Continue, Kuya. Are you done?
yeah, they
Consider itself what?
baptize them
Okay.
and the communion as well as church discipline.
Okay, very good, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the question is how to view our how to view the church with our experience, by our experience.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So is he saying this as a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah, your answer was also accurate. So when we view our church, view the church with our limited experience, we actually limit our vision of church to these things. Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Good job. Yeah, you can give yourselves a high five. All right. Yeah, there's Kuya Brown. Okay, now let's listen to Kuya Brown and Ate Giselle as they share one of their one question, the best question that you asked, and what's the answer to it, Ate?
So we chose question number 4. Organic churches reproduce, and the question was, how does coal reproduce other than with numbers and lifestyle?
Okay, that's a very
My
good question.
answer was, his view is that everyone's goal is to point people to Christ and following him.
All right. Wow. So the question again was how do sorry, Ate, could you repeat that?
Yes, how does coal reproduce other than with numbers and lifestyle?
Okay. How does coal reproduce churches, organic churches, other than numbers
and lifestyle?
Yeah. And the answer again, sorry, Ate, I'm making you repeat
No,
it.
that's okay. His view is that everyone's goal is to point people to Christ and to following him.
All right. Yeah, that's what he was is trying to point out here. So it's not just numbers, it's not just a certain lifestyle, but it's really about Christ. Kuya Brown, did you want to say something?
I'm not sure if you want me to say something. I had the joy of studying him when I did my doctorate when he was a new young writer. He had only written 2 books at that stage, or maybe 3, but now he has at least 10. He was considered very radical, but I was writing my paper on small group development, and he sees the small groups in your church as the key to being an organic church. I can say more or less, maybe some other time, but everything is about his small groups. And they are very faithful to pray for the unsaved. They gather in groups of 3 to 5 of same-sex or same-gender groups every week. They read 15 to 30 chapters of Scripture. They talk how they had the chance to share this week, and they pray together for whom they might be able to share the gospel next week. They are very excited about living for Jesus.
Wow, wow. We would love to read your dissertation, Pia, if it's possible.
No, you wouldn't. No.
It will help you fall asleep at night. It's all 300 pages.
This big.
Oh, really?
Oh, my goodness.
Really? It's 300 pages? Okay.
He did a good job.
Wow. I can apply SQ3R. I won't doze off. Yeah, I will read that. Yeah, thank you, Pia Brown. Yeah, so we can see that this is just an overview. This article is just an overview. It's like an advertisement for his for his book, something like that. He's trying to present a new idea about how church should be done, but at the same time, leaving out a lot of details, like how exactly do we do that, like practically how do we do that. So thank you, Pia Brown, for sharing that. So we better read this book. That's what it is. We better read this book.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Like I said, he has about 10 or 11. You might begin. I think his first 2 were the ones that were very good. The first one was called Cultivating a Life for God. And the second, Organic Church, Growing Faith Where Life Happens. And after that, he becomes more of a telling you how to do what he explained in the first 2 books.
Wow, wow. So those are the first 2 you would want us to read first if we're going to be reading his books. Thank you, Pia Brown. Thank you. And it's just amazing, huh? This is what we use every year for this exercise. And I was thinking, maybe we can change it up this time. I don't want to do the same. I don't want to use the same material over and over again. But then I just stuck to it. And it's amazing that Pia Brown just so happened to write this dissertation on the same author. Yeah. So what a coincidence.
Well, now let me be clear. He was only one of the sources I used for my point, so I didn't do it on him specifically. But he was. I had to read 300 books, so he was. They were 2 of the 300 books I read.
Okay. It's 300 books. Wow. Okay, let's go back to the next 2 steps. So you're done reading, but you are not done yet. You are not done yet. Remember the video that we watched? There is such a thing as illusion of competence. Do you remember what he was saying about illusion of competence? That after having read a book or after having read a passage or a chapter, you have this certain illusion in your mind that you know what it is. You know everything that the author is trying to say. You remember what you have read, but in reality, unless you would do the next step, what you have read today is just gonna stay in your working memory. Remember what the speaker was saying in our listening assignment? It's just gonna stay in your short-term memory. So how do we transfer that into our long-term memory in such a way that you can remember this longer? So the next R, so SQ3R, survey, question, read, The next R is recite. Recite.
Gonna recite.
So after you read, you have to recite orally or record by writing the things you have learned. What is the purpose of this? As I said, you would want to transfer this memory from your working memory, short-term memory, to your long-term memory. Otherwise, it will be lost. It will be lost. And this is one thing that's common for us as Asians. You know, we would review for the exam the following day, and after that, yeah, we would ace the exam. We will pass the exam, but after that, we forget practically everything. Right? This is a common experience for us. We review for the exam to pass the exam, and after that, we forget almost everything, if not everything that we have learned. So, so it's a very common experience, and we don't want that, right? We don't want that as we study in IJSL, because we're not just here to get a degree. You are here to prepare yourselves, to equip yourselves for your future ministry, and you would want to remember the things that you're learning here. So how do we do that? We recite. How specifically can we do that? Okay. First of all, put the article aside. Yeah, don't read it. And then try to remember what you learned and understood from the article. Okay, so you'll be digging up a little bit. And okay, this is something I don't want you to do right now, but you can do it later. You can take a clean sheet of paper and individually write 5 to 8 sentences to summarize it, to summarize the article. This will be your assignment. So write down the main idea, important points, and new information and answers to your questions. But here's the thing: you're gonna keep it short. You're gonna write just 5 to 8 sentences. You're gonna try to synthesize all the things that you've learned into 5 to 8 sentences. Now you cannot do that. Right now, we don't have the time. But what I want you to do is remember what the speaker said yesterday. I mean, not yesterday. In the video, recall. Recall. We try to recall what we have learned by setting aside the book or the article, and just, if you can say it out loud, that would be great. If you can, since you are in a group, you can share the things you have learned without going back to the article. Okay? So the purpose of that, again, is to transfer whatever you have learned from your working memory, short-term memory, to your long-term memory. And hopefully you will be able to remember it. Okay, so what I want you to do is spend a few minutes, just a few minutes, to share, recall what you have learned, and share it in your groups. Share it in your groups. Okay, can you do that right now? I'll give you 5 minutes. Or yeah, let's see if you're done by 5 minutes. If not, we can extend it a little bit. But keep it short. Keep it short. Okay. And each one, give yourselves ample time to share. Okay. All right. Do that right now.
Yes.
So the last step is, after we recall, we review. We review. So we're not yet done. This is the last step. Review is, what do we do when we review? We look back at each heading, questions and answers, and summary notes. Okay, that's what we do. And then afterwards, we try to make them personal. Yeah, we try to make them personal. We try to come up with applications for it. Okay. Remember that we have what we call head, heart, hands. Head, heart,
Yeah.
hands, right? We focus on not just on filling our heads with knowledge, but we focus on application also. So it's very important that we come up with personal applications of what we've read.
Kuya,
How can I use this information? Yes, Ate.
how many words or pages?
What's that?
The summary,
No,
how
summary,
many?
it's just 5 to 8 sentences.
5 to 8. Okay.
Yeah. Again, you're doing this for yourself. Remember, okay? When you read, you do it individually. So you really don't need to submit it unless your professor asks you to submit it. You try to summarize for yourself. Okay? So 5 to 8 sentences would be fine unless your professor tells you, okay, write a full page summary. Yeah, then that's when it becomes a bit technical. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Okay, we cannot do this now. We're gonna have to skip this. I missed the manila paper, by the way. Okay, these are the questions I would want you to answer. This is for your assignment. Okay? What is one thing that... Okay, let me just get this out of the way. What is one thing that you personally appreciated in this article? What from this article can I use in my life? What are there any word for word quotes I could use in this article that I want to remember? And what other questions do I still have about this topic? I'm pretty sure you have a lot of questions lingering in your mind, like how can we do that? How does that look like? Yeah, so I want you to write down those questions that you still have about this topic. And it's okay. It's okay to have questions because this is, as I said, this is just an overview. Now, what I want you to do is, yeah, I'll be sending this to you. So you don't need to copy it. Write them down. I'll be creating a bin in Google Classrooms. All right. And I want you to submit your answers. Submit your answers. Okay? Or okay, let's do it differently. Let's do it differently. I want us to share it with the whole class. So what I'm gonna do is I will give you I'll be creating a Google document and I'll be sending out the link to all of you to your email. And I want you to input there your answers to these questions so that we can be accountable to each other. We can also learn from each other. Oh, this is what Kuya Dawe learned. That's a good thing. Yeah, maybe I can do the same thing. Something like that. All right? So that we can be accountable to each other. That will be your assignment for tomorrow. Okay, I want to end with this one. Okay, I can't read it. Sorry. It's hard when I go full screen. If you can read and analyze an article, you can read... Oh, my grammar is wrong. Yeah, you might bash me. If you can read and analyze an article, you can read and analyze a chapter of a book. That's what you did, right? Now chapter is longer, but you can do it if you were able to read an article. If you can read and analyze a chapter, then you can read and analyze a book, right? So we are on a journey, a reading journey, and you have just begun your reading journey. Actually, you already began a couple of months ago, but we are on our way to becoming better academic readers. So keep reading, and soon you'll be reading faster, better, and smarter. Okay, so that's it for our effective reading seminar. I hope you can apply it by yourselves. It's not that hard to do. It's very practical. Um, and the more you do it, the more it will become second nature to you. What do we mean by second nature? It will just be natural for you. That you will just do it like you're breathing, you know. It will be so natural for you to do. All right, so that's it for our effective reading seminar.